Oh man, this is that day. What's up, everybody? Are we on? Are we live? I have to wait to see it, or it's not real. There's a lull. You know the drill. Looks like YouTube is waking up. Hi, YouTube. YouTube is awake. Now, where is Rockfin? Rockfin is awake. Rockfin is awake. How about that? Everyone's awake. Everybody everywhere. I'm sure there's some people asleep, literally and figuratively. Huh? What's up, everybody? It's me, Ron Placone. And this is the patron slash Rockfin Premium stream. This is the stream where I respond directly to the patrons and Rockfin Premium members. They leave stuff for me, and we go through it together. It's fun. It's fun. This stream goes out to everybody. Everybody gets this stream when it initially goes out, but it's only available later for the Rockfin Premium members and patrons. How can you become a patron? Patreon.com/Ron Placone. For a give what you can level, you get the replay of this stream and all other patron streams. You also get a patron Zoom show once a week. And I'll make you your own theme song. Have you ever wanted a theme song? Now you can get one. How much does that cost, you ask? A give what you can level. Whatever you're comfortable with. Even $1 a month goes a long way. I know things are tough right now. If you're strapped financially, don't worry about it. I make all my content available, at least initially, for free. But if you got a little bit to spare each month and you want to help keep this show on the air and you're able to, patreon.com/Ron Placone. Thank you so much. This is my punk rock Mr. Rogers. That's what I'm going. Hey neighbor, let's get our news on together. Won't you? I don't have any shoes on my feet, so I guess technically I could put them on right now. What's up, everybody? I hope everyone's crushing it. I hope everyone is feeling great. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week and happy Thursday. You know, why not? This shirt is weird on me, and I apologize for that. But anyway, so this is my alma mater, by the way, Indiana University. Let's go to see what the patrons are saying. Nina, we're going to start with you. So this is a fun one. This is a fun one to start out on Thursday. A little laid back here. Nina says, a 10-year-old Toronto street guitarist mastered the instrument in just 2 years. Wow. Played AC/DC and Metallica at his grade 3 graduation. Says one obvious envious onlooker. Eruption by Van Halen? Question mark. I can't play that, and I've been trying for 20 years. And then you say that this clip has a big old ad at the beginning of it. Well, let's check it out anyway. So this is a 10-year-old guitar prodigy. Let's see if we can check him out.
We leave you tonight with a gifted guitarist's face-melting solos in the street.
Man,
those songs are from way before his time. John Valley Rao explains.
I like how they had that intro, that lead up, but they still said it like he said it like a total newsman. Like, we have a face-melting solo coming up at 11. All right, anyway.
You ready?
Yeah.
All
This
right,
is how
let's watch him
Benny
shred.
Patterson and his dad
Great spot.
like to spend their weekends on a sidewalk, pulling out the guitar, plugging into an amp, and letting Benny dig in to some iconic rock songs. Like this classic by Pearl Jam, which was a hit 20 years before Benny was born.
I like Metallica, AC/DC, Ozzy Osbourne.
A kid who loves doing rock and heavy metal covers that stop passersby in their tracks.
Unbelievable. 10 years old, man. I can't believe it.
And Benny, with his free metal show, loving the reaction he gets.
It just almost brings a tear to my eye. You know what I'm saying? I love it.
Some simply envious of his
These comments are the
remarkable
best.
skills
Like, wow,
navigating
he's
the
only
French
10. I have a
AC/DC
tear in my eye.
Eruption by Van Halen. You know how hard that is? I can't play it.
You
I've
think
been
they'll
trying
interview
for
a
20
non-white
years.
dude? Do you think they'll do that?
I'm very angry at you right now.
Benny first started riffing on a guitar
Aw.
just 2 years ago and was a fan of the music.
That's impressive. 2 years, he's got chops like that. That's amazing. I don't have chops like that. I don't know. That's a nice story. Good for Benny. That's really cool. Nina, thank you for sharing that. That makes you feel good. And that happened up in Canada, in Toronto. Maybe after that story, they were like, hey, P.S., Yeah, we've had the hottest month ever. It's so hot up here that the sea life are literally cooking in their shells. Yeah, something's pretty messed up. But sometimes you just gotta unplug, no pun intended, and watch this kid plug in and play some guitar. Good for him. That's awesome. That's cool that he can shred like 2 years. I can't shred like that. I've been playing longer than 2 years. Thank you for sharing that, Nina. Sometimes we need a little bit of a feel-good story here. You go on to add, Iceland's 4-day workweek trial has deemed an overwhelming success. Yes, of course. That's awesome. And if you were wondering, wow. So here, we'll go to what you share here. Iceland has been experimenting with the 4-day workweek. I like Iceland because you know what they do? They have a museum dedicated to punk rock. They're very left-wing over there, and they put bankers in jail. It's my kind of place. Iceland, are you out there? Frickin' book me. Book me. The borders aren't really open right now, but once they are, book me. I got to play Iceland. It's on my list. Iceland tried a shortened work week. Overwhelming success. This is according to Forbes. Even Forbes admit it. As remote work become a roaring success for both companies, blah, 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 blah. 4-day work weeks, hybrid models. Boom. A recent study of 2,500 workers in Iceland, more than 1% of the workforce, was conducted to see if shortened workdays led to more productivity and a happy work week. The trials were made across an array of different types of workplaces. And it looks like that's the case. It's leading to more productivity. 86% of the country's workforce, they're working shorter hours. Productivity and service provision remain the same or improved. And worker well-being dramatically increased. And you know why that is? It's because there's been studies around this for years and years. You're not totally productive all the hours you're at work. In fact, eventually it has a diminishing return. I think that's the right way to put it. It's a diminishing return because you're just there for so many hours that you just get exhausted and you're burnt out and you are less productive. Whereas if you're there for less time, you are more productive. You're more motivated. You have a better work-life balance. And then guess what? It's better for the economy because you have more time to go out and spend your freaking money. There should not be 5-day work weeks anymore. It just shouldn't exist. There's no reason for it. There's literally no point. Honestly, if anything, 4 days might even be too long. We should just have however many hours they know you're at your max productivity. That's how many hours you should work. You should get enough money to live for it because your productivity stays the same. And then you should have the rest of the time to yourself to spend money in the economy and live your freaking life. That's the way it should be everywhere in the world. The United States, polar opposite of that. The United States is the quintessential example of we live to work, not work to live. It is ass backwards. Most countries in the world aren't like that. Some are. It's not just the United States. There's other countries that do similar shit. But it's basically, it's like us, Japan, China, and a few other places. I don't want to, that's just off the top of my head. I don't want to leave them. But other countries, Iceland, Germany, Sweden, Norway, Canada to an extent, England, Scotland, Italy, Spain, France, Germany. I already said Germany. All right. You get the idea. You get the idea. And that brings up that thing I tweeted once. Whenever someone, especially here in the United States, and Nina, I know you're up in Canada, but whenever someone in the United States says things like, well, show me a better, I know the United States has its problems, but tell me what country's better. They don't actually want you to answer that question. Because when you do, they get mad. When you start answering that question, you're like, well, Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Italy, Germany, France, England, Scotland, Ireland. And you start naming these countries, Portugal, Spain. They get mad. They get mad real quick. They're like, all right, I didn't actually want you to answer that. I didn't actually want you to answer that question. Don't answer that. Because I honestly think I don't even know if I was just, here from another planet and could pick any country I wanted to. I don't think the U.S. would make my top 50. Maybe it would. But you think about, first Australia, New Zealand, Mexico even to an extent. Like I think about that, and I'm pretty sure every country in the EU I would rank above the US. Like as far as like, yeah, this would be a quality of life. I would rank every country in the EU. So that's like 27 countries right there. And then you have England, and then you have Scotland, and then Canada, Mexico, Australia, New Zealand. Anyway, and then there's some countries where it's like, well, I can't speak to, I would feel like I would need to do more research or digging before I determine, like, is this a place that would be a good fit for me to live in? Not saying it's better or worse than the United States necessarily, just would it be a good fit for me? Get the idea. So, yeah, I'm all about, I mean, Germany, they have like a 28-hour work week. It's the way it should be. I mean, study after study, it reveals that, first of all, giving people a good work-life balance leads to more productivity. Giving people flexible work options, meaning remote work and stuff like that, leads to more productivity. Unless you look at some study from the Wall Street Journal that was organized by people who rent WeWork spaces or rent office spaces. I think they did. They tried to do something like that recently. I don't remember all the details, but there was this Wall Street Journal thing where they're like, oh, yeah, taking people out of the office. It's chaos. It's anarchy. Everyone's got to get back in right away. And then you find out, oh, these are people who rent office spaces who are making these claims. We should just, everybody should work. I know not everyone can work remote. There's some jobs where that's just not a possibility. Like obviously like food service and stuff like that. But anyone who can should, and we should just turn all of this office space into affordable housing or something else, or use it for something else entirely. Use it to help people. Use it for healthcare facilities or just something else. We should just get rid of all of it. It shouldn't exist anymore. Yeah. But there you go. That's what I think. And I know WeWork spaces are kind of nice, like they're kind of fancy pants. And I know some people who have them and they do like them. It helps them. I know some people, it's like they need somewhere to go to be productive. So maybe in cases like that, you can have that a little bit. But I think for the other 90% of us, is I just work from home. I mean, I've been doing it for a long time. I technically work from home all the time now. And I did it a lot before, too. I mean, a lot of my writing projects would be from home. And I would go into different studios for some stuff. But now it's just all remote in this digital era that we've always been in. But now we're like really in, So, yeah, I'm for it. I'm for a 4-day work week at the max. Honestly, I think it could be less. I think we could do a 3-day work week and still find the same results. Because, I mean, there was one study out there, and I don't, this is going back a while. Again, this is the patron stream. This is casual and just off the cuff. This is not like some, this is not like a pre-prepared segment or anything like that. This is where I respond to stuff the patrons have given me. I haven't seen it in advance. So for anyone just tuning in, this is a more casual Q&A style, relax type stream and just off the top of my noggin. But yeah. I saw something once that it said that you're actually really only maximum, like you could reach your max productivity in 2 solid work days. Like if for 2 days a week, you just work your freaking ass off. People do like 5 days, like work that they're currently doing in 5. They would do it in 2. And honestly, I would love that. I mean, I would love a scenario like that. Now I know that I am self-employed, so it's, but I would love the idea of like, you just work your ass off for 2 days and then the rest of the time is yours. I mean, that sounds badass. What do you think? So I think look into that. Why stop at 4? Maybe we can pull it off with 2. Have different shifts, obviously. Like one person works Monday, Tuesday, one person works Wednesday, Thursday, one person works, and I know that might fuck it up for the person who has to work Saturday, Sunday, but we wouldn't have the concept of a weekend anymore anyway. So it wouldn't matter. You're still getting 5 days off. And maybe for some people, it's not 2 days in a row. Maybe it's just like, okay, I work Monday and Wednesday. Monday, Wednesday, I work my fucking ass off. The rest of the days, my time, baby. Imagine what that would do for our society. People would be living their lives. We have a finite amount of time on this planet, folks. We're not here to push paper for somebody else to make a CEO rich. That's not why we're here. In the United States, what I just said is a very radical notion. That's a very, and in other parts of the world, not as much, but in the United States, that's a very radical idea. Hey, we're not here to make money for somebody else. We're not here to get a paycheck. That isn't the full extent of our labor, by the way. None of us get paid what our labor is actually worth. Well, I mean, some people get paid a lot more, but you know what I mean. Other than the oligarchs and the CEOs and the Wall Street folks, the actual workers, pretty much nobody, even people who get paid well, they're still not really getting paid what their labor is actually worth, what their labor actually generates. So, yeah, anyway. So good for you, Iceland. Thank you for jailing bankers. Thank you for having a museum dedicated to punk rock. The more I talk about this, the more I feel like I kind of want to live in Iceland or somewhere else. Anyway, thank you for that. Podcast by George. What's up, buddy? Oh, and George, I got your email about the MMT, and I'll be responding to that. If I don't respond soon, remind me, but I'll give you the information from my MMT guy. I have an MMT guy. His name is Jeff. He comes on my show every second Monday of the month for an MMT Monday, where we talk about issues going on in the world and how they relate to MMT, which is modern monetary theory, which is basically, the way I like to describe it, it's hard to describe that in a really quick soundbite, but I think the way I like to frame it, it's basically acknowledging the economic truth that we create our own currency here in the United States, and we can utilize that economic truth to benefit everybody, not just Wall Street. That's basically what MMT is all about. That's a very, very quick snapshot summary. It's way more detailed than that, and there's way more going on in it than that. But that's what Jeff and I talk about. All right, anyway. So I will send you the info from my MMT guy. But you send me this, George, and you ask this question. Ron, is this good, bad, or indifferent? Must be happening around the country. Ooh, what is it? Let me see. Is this good, bad, or indifferent? $222 million incoming. $222 million incoming. Iowa requests stimulus. Iowa requested local government stimulus payments yesterday. Why it matters? It means that the distribution of about $222 million to Iowa's hundreds of small towns will begin within the next month, including multiple metro communities. Yeah, I think this is a good thing. Absolutely. I think this is a great thing. We have a big surplus here in California. They should be giving it to the residents. And, I know you're talking about Iowa here, but going on the theme of this, I can use my state as an example. Here in California, we have these huge surpluses, these huge revenues that are out there. Governor Newsom just randomly found out we have $7 billion that could build us the best broadband infrastructure in the freaking country. Some of the best in the world. We just have it. We have those funds. So why isn't the broadband thing moving forward? Well, because big cable's trying to stop it, because that cuts into their revenue. Why don't we have a great high-speed rail here in California? We can expand. We can afford it. Well, because oil and gas companies don't want that to happen. So, and this goes into the entire country. I know California is, California is the 5th largest GDP in the world. So that's a very elaborate example. But it applies to the entire United States. I don't think there has ever been a bigger waste of potential in human history than the United States. If there has been, I'm terrified to think about what it even was. Because when you look at other empires, like the stuff they would do in comparison, and I'm not saying they were good. Empires in general are not good, obviously. But you would look at the stuff they would actually do. I mean, even looking at something like the Renaissance, where, they were doing terrible things around the world, of course, but they still invested into the quality of life for a lot of people. They still invested into the arts. They still did these other things that are not near as barbaric as what we do. And, you have this situation where there's all these resources available, and yet people accept diminishing qualities of lives. We all could have had an emergency UPI for the duration of this pandemic. Think about the trillions they gave to Wall Street. We all could have had a UBI during the pandemic. Our country decided we're just going to do nothing. We're just going to use this opportunity to have a giveaway to Wall Street. And our government has done nothing more than prove itself to be a total corporate coup. Just a complete and utter corporate coup. And that bleeds into the states and that bleeds into federal. So, yeah, give people in Iowa a UBI. Give people all around this country a freaking UBI. There's no reason not to do it. And there's no reason why we can't have both a UBI and a federal jobs guarantee. You don't have to be for one or the other. We can have both. There's no reason why we shouldn't. I'll quote my buddy Jeff, who is my MMT guy. Inflation only happens as a result of bad politics. And you can read Stephanie Kelton's book, The Deficit Myth, which I highly recommend. And it breaks down MMT. A popular misconception about modern monetary theory is that it just forgets about that whole idea of inflation, pretends it doesn't exist. That's not true. Modern monetary theory acknowledges inflation. Inflation is very real, and it's a very real concern. If you keep just throwing money into a society, well, eventually that currency is not going to be worth as much, obviously. No one's denying that reality. You can learn that in Econ 101. That's very real. Everybody across the political spectrum recognizes that that's a real thing. If they don't, they're just denying a very basic reality. However, inflation can be controlled with good politics, with good lawmaking. And you can still create things that better society as opposed to giving a bunch of money to Wall Street and keep inflation under control. It's an easy thing to do. And I think Jeff put it best. He's like, inflation is really only caused by currency creation coupled with shitty policy making. So if we just have not shitty policy making, we can have all those things. Federal jobs guarantee, UBI for all the citizens, high-speed rail across the freaking country, universal health care. We can have it all. We really can. Are we going to be a utopia? Fuck no. We're still going to have a ton of problems. But holy shit, what a waste of potential we are. What an absolute waste of potential we are as a society. And that goes to Iowa. That goes to California. California, I mean, it's absolutely... I feel like everybody should live in California for at least a month. Because I feel like if you do... obviously, I'm not being literal here. But I feel like if everyone just spent some time in California as a resident, they would realize, oh my God, we have all of this potential. We have all of these things, and yet we're doing nothing. We could be leading the way on climate change. We could have a statewide healthcare system that would lead to a federal healthcare system. We could have a jobs program. We could have a UBI. We could have a high-speed rail. We could have some of the best broadband in the world. We have none of these things because of corporate interests that hold this country hostage. We could have all of them. And that applies for everywhere in the country, not just California. But when you're in a place like California, where it's like the 5th largest GDP in the world, yet people who live here have a lower quality of life than citizens in countries that have half of the amount of resources we do, it's really just slapping you in the face. I don't see how anyone can live in this state and not be a socialist. You know what I mean? Like I don't see, or at least I shouldn't say just socialist. You know, maybe you'll be a communist or an anarchist or whatever else. But I don't see how anybody, unless of course you're in the 1% who's benefiting from the system. But if you're not, I don't see how you could even be a capitalist. If you see what's going on in a place like California, I don't see how you could justify capitalism. How you couldn't see like what a disaster capitalism is and how it only benefits a very, very small amount of people while screwing over a huge amount of people. So anyway, you get it. Let's see here. What else do I want to, where do I want to go next? So yeah, George, I would say good thing. And then you share this. This is up my alley here. This goes into broadband, which is my topic. One of the topics I harp on a lot on this show. Joe Biden wants to provide millions of Americans with high-speed internet. It won't be easy. Well, it could be easy, but you get it. In Thompson Falls, Montana, schools practically came to a halt in the spring of 2020. Okay, so they're talking about how kids weren't able to learn because they didn't have access to broadband, which is true, and we covered that a lot on the show. This is commonly referred to as the digital divide. Okay, so Washington and some internet providers are trying to solve the problem, but experts and lawmakers haven't settled on specifically what needs to be done, even as Joe Biden and Republican lawmakers want to invest billions into a broadband expansion effort. Well, let's see what this involves. Because here's the problem. The problem with this, and I can't access this USA Today article, but okay. So here's the problem. Now, in Joe Biden's infrastructure bill, at least in the kind of bullet points of it, there were some pleasant surprises in it. There were some pleasant surprises that they want to prioritize municipal networks, which means not big cable. It means cities and municipalities. And they're investing a reasonable amount. Is it enough? No, it's not enough, which is par the course for Biden. Any scrappy throws, it's nowhere close to enough. Hey, it's great. We're back in the Paris Accord. Is it enough for what we need to do on climate change? Nowhere close. Hey, it's great. You stopped the Keystone XL pipeline. Is it anywhere close to enough? Nope. Nowhere close to enough. Hey, it's great that there's this infrastructure package, but there's a lot of very concerning things in it too. And again, it's nowhere close to enough. That's kind of the story. And broadband is the same. You know, they want to invest a significant amount, not enough. And they are supposed to prioritize municipal networks. Now, I will not believe that full-throatedly until I see it. Do you think that big cable is not trying to influence this bill? I guarantee you they are. And it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if we saw a public-private partnership. What that means is they give a bunch of money to these big cable companies that are going to cut corners on infrastructure. So they're going to continue to offer people shitty infrastructure at a bloated price, which is what we have now when it comes to internet access in the United States. We have shitty infrastructure, not because we can't do better, but because big cable doesn't want to do better because they're only concerned about their profit margins. Now, if we had city-owned internet all across the country, if we had municipal networks, which, by the way, there's $7 billion intended to do that here in California. If California got something like that, I guarantee you the rest of the country would want to follow suit really quick. They'd be like, hey, why does California have some of the best internet in the frickin' world? As we should, by the way. I mean, what the hell? Like, how do you... We're the capital of show business, supposedly. Why would you not want to have some of the best internet in the frickin' world when you rely on content, you rely on film and TV as such a significant part of your economy? It's amazing. It's amazing how even incredibly powerful industries are still muzzled in a place like California because corporate interests are that strong. They're that strong. Isn't that crazy? I think it is. And we'll go with that. Thank you for sharing that, George. And again, we'll keep an eye on Biden's infrastructure plan. They're still kind of going through the details on it. And we'll see. I mean, I am the broadband portion I covered on my show a while ago with Shahid Buttar. And our consensus was be very, very cautiously optimistic. There was some good looking things in it that were pleasant surprises, some Easter eggs that were pleasant surprises. However, Joe Biden is no stranger to big cable. He started his campaign at a dinner with Comcast executives. So if you don't think big cable is going to try to get their fangs into this, well, I guarantee you they are. They already are. And there's probably conversations going on under the table we don't know about. So again, proceed with an awful lot of caution. And that's what I'm going to do. That's what we're all going to do. All right, you bring this up. How much of the Haiti assassination is due to U.S. creating instability? More or even more? I'd say more to all. and admittedly, I got to be honest with you. I'm not following everything that's going on there super closely. But yeah, the U.S. is of course involved. Absolutely. Haiti in upheaval. President Morsi assassinated at home. And this happened this week, I believe. This is a squad of gunmen assassinated Haitian President Jovenel Moise. I'm probably mispronouncing that, and wounded his wife in an overnight raid on their home Wednesday, with police killing 4 suspects, arresting 2 others hours later, amid growing chaos in a country already enduring gang violence and protests of his increasingly authoritarian rule. 3 police officers held hostage by the suspected gunmen were freed late Wednesday after police surrounded a house where some of the suspects were hiding. Interim Prime Minister Claude Joseph said the police and military were in control of security in Haiti, the poorest country in the Americas, where a history of dictatorship and political upheaval have long stymied the consolidation of democratic rule. So what we do here in the United States is we interfere in these things all the time, and we will overthrow democratically elected people when we feel like it to make sure that socialism doesn't rise anywhere, baby. And then, of course, we impose ridiculous sanctions on pretty much all the countries to the south of us, and we create climate refugees. And then you have Kamala Harris, who gets on a podium and says, "Don't come here. You people who are climate refugees, who are desperate, so you're coming to the United States because you're desperate." People don't want to come here, by the way. Let's make that clear. I mean, unless you have some kind of niche that where the United States is a good place for you to be, which that's applying to less and less people, by the way. Nobody loves the idea of coming here. They're coming here because they're desperate, because they're fleeing desperate situations, because they're climate refugees in a lot of cases, or they're refugees of violence. Yeah. So, yeah, people aren't itching to come here. They really aren't. So there's that. And but thank you for sharing that, George. And I guess to answer your question, I would say most, potentially all. I haven't been following that issue as closely as I probably should be, but yeah, I know it happened this week. Pizza King, what's up? Sorry, I'm copying and pasting here as I speak. Pizza King, you share this with me. Burst pipeline in Gulf of Mexico creates Eye of Sauron effect underwater. Yeah, this oh man, did you all see this? If you haven't seen it, you're going to see it for the first time here. Check it out. I'm sure you've all seen this video by now. But this crazy, I mean, look at this. Look at that. Why is the play button not go? Shut up.
This is remarkable video from the Gulf of Mexico. This giant
I don't want to hear you. We can just see it. We don't need to hear you. I mean, it's fucked up. An oil pipe burst, and now it literally set the water on fire. Look at this. This is capitalism, folks. Here, no. Let's absorb this. No pun intended. This is capitalism right here. I don't want to. What's with you? Is that Matthew Broderick? Is he doing news now? I'm Matthew Broderick. It's not my day off. Go back to the fire water. Where's the fire water? This is not working. All right. Well, you guys saw it. We saw it. We saw the fire water. We came, we saw, we conquered. I remember I saw that thing. I saw that thing when it first surfaced, and I just, wow. I mean, how are you not just taken aback by that? And you're like, holy shit. Holy shit. I mean, we got to get off fossil fuels, folks. It's not like we have no choice. We have to get off of it. We have to start creating alternative solutions to all of our energy needs. Not some of it, all of it. And 2050, too late. Too late. We got to start it now. And I know we're doing some things. It's not enough. We got to go faster. We got to go way freaking faster. We can't. I mean, look at this. Look at it. It's on fire. The ocean is on fire. The Gulf of Mexico is on fire. I mean, holy shit. And then you see people like, hey, in my state, you see Governor Gavin Newsom tweeting about it. Well, he's simultaneously approving more fracking permits. It's a crazy time to be alive, folks. It really is. We are, we're going to see one extreme or another. I mean, we are either going to see true revolutionary change in our lifetimes, or we're going to see the decline. I mean, we just are, and I don't know how significant or bad it's gonna be. It's tough to predict those kind of things, but we're either gonna be like part of the solution or this is the decline. And I do think in our lifetimes, like we're not gonna recognize this place anymore. Like we're gonna be looking at an entirely different United States in most of our lifetimes. We're gonna be telling our kids and grandchildren about what Miami was, what New Orleans was. I think there's a very good chance that's gonna be the case. And that's heavy. That's very heavy. But it's the reality. And this is not alarmism. This is not, but this isn't sugarcoating it either. That's what we're dealing with. I mean, there's pretty much scientific consensus. Like, yeah, in 50 years, this is going to look like an entirely different place. This, like, you're not going to recognize this country if you're still alive in 50 years. Now, we have the option of doing everything we can do and creating something better. I do believe we have that choice. I don't believe we are hopeless because we're not. I mean, we're just not. And anyone who says otherwise, they're just being contrarian for contrarian's sake. It is not a hopeless situation. That's just literally not true. The way Peter Kalmus, the climate scientist who does my show sometimes, the way he describes it, he's like, look, it's like an escalator. And we're on a certain rung right now. We have the choice to not keep going up the escalator and to start doing things to do better. We're not going to, quote, stop climate change. It doesn't work that way. It's already here. But we can mitigate, like we can manage our contribution. We can manage the severity of the virus that we are. I think we're always going to be a virus. I know some people that they entertain this idea that we're not going to have any type of waste towards the earth whatsoever. I feel like that's pretty much impossible. And I feel like if the technology were to exist to where that would be remotely possible, I don't think we'll ever see it in my lifetime. I'd love to be proven wrong. So I think we will always be, somewhat of a virus by definition. But right now, we are behaving like a deadly cancer. We have the possibility and the potential to behave like a runny nose. And the earth can put up with a runny nose. The earth will let us stick around here if we're just going to be a runny nose. So let's be a runny nose. That's my climate message. Let's be a runny nose. Hey, I need a tissue because humanity, they're still doing some shit, but they're off fossil fuels. They're off, they're using solar, they're using wind, they're using hemp. They're doing way better. They all still take a dump every day, sure. They all still, I mean, there's going to be some, but even like different plastics and stuff like that, we can reuse so much. So, I mean, there's so much we can do to really minimize what a disaster we are. And we can do so much better. Will we ever be completely zero waste to where the earth doesn't notice we're here? No, I don't think so. I don't think that's a possibility, but we can be doing so much better. And by the way, we could look at past civilizations to see examples of people doing better. Just here in the United States, the people who were here first, the Native Americans, they did way better. And I know that they didn't have the technology we have now, and that's part of it, sure. But they also had a way of life where they saw themselves as stewards to the earth. They saw themselves as being part of nature. They didn't see nature as something for them to exploit. They saw nature as something for them to participate in. We can have that mindset now, even with the technology advancements we have. There's no reason why we can't do that. Except for corruption. Capitalism and corruption. That's the only reason we can't do that. Capitalism and corruption. Only reason. Yeah. So there you have it. Thank you for sharing that, Pizza King. I appreciate it very much. Let's see here. Let me go over to the super chat. And if you guys have any questions, please do drop a Rockfin tip or a super chat. I'll try to get to them. Nay's Garden. What's up, buddy? I haven't seen you around in a while. Ron, in all caps. I appreciate the all caps. Ron, we are multicasting you and we love you so much. Thanks for that, Nay. I appreciate that. I hope all is well where you are. And thank you for the pain oil. You can check out Trendy Nay's pain oil at triageoil.com. I use it. I use it regularly. I use it on my neck. And, this is not a paid commercial, folks. This is the truth. Trendy sent me some of his oil to try, and I tried it, and it works really freaking well. I was in a bad car accident in 2013. Some of you guys know that about me, or maybe this is your first time hearing about it. It was fucking scary. It was really fucking scary. And I miraculously did not get seriously injured. And it's because I have first wear a freaking seatbelt. All right. Wear a freaking seatbelt. For fuck's sake. People who try to, yeah, it's my right to not wear a seat. Don't die on that hill. And you might literally die on a hill. Let me tell you. As a guy who got sideswiped by a truck twice the size of his 03 Hyundai Elantra and got sent flying over 4 lanes of traffic into a median on a highway, it's still miraculous that another car wasn't coming. Miraculous. Like I still, and if another car would have been coming, wouldn't have been able to stop, I'd be dead. I would be dead. There's no doubt I'd be dead. And I went into a median. Wear your freaking seatbelt, okay? Wear your freaking seatbelt. You know what that seatbelt did to me? It bruised the shit out of my ribs. My ribs were bruised. And it was very uncomfortable sleeping for a while. It hurt. It hurt when I would breathe in and out. But you know what would have happened to me if I didn't have that freaking seatbelt? I would have went through a windshield and I wouldn't be here telling you about my bruised ribs that were fine in a week. I'd be buried underground somewhere. Yeah. Wear your fucking seatbelt. And you know what? I didn't get an X-ray because it's so great. I should probably talk about this a little bit more because it really bleeds into so many different issues. Because at the time, I shit you not, at the time, I was a comedian at the time, so I did not have a job that gave me health insurance. I was self-employed. And this would have been 2013. So, Affordable Care Act was around, and I used the Affordable Care Act. But then my girlfriend at the time, we had a domestic partnership registered. She got this job, and I could save money on my healthcare if I just got my healthcare from her. So I was going to get my healthcare from her. Now, there was this 2-week period where I was going to have a lapse in coverage. And there was kind of like there was just a lot of administrative bureaucratic bullshit around it. And there was really nothing I could do. I mean, I could have just made sure I had coverage like up to the minute, which I should have done. But it was weird. I mean, I don't remember all the details because this is going back a fair amount of years. But I had a 2-week lapse in coverage. And my accident happened during that 2 weeks. Shit you not. My accident happened during that 2 freaking weeks. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. So great system we got. And part of it is on me, but yeah, great system we got where something like that can even happen. But anyway, so I just kind of went to an urgent care and paid out of pocket, and they, kind of did the bare minimum as far as looking at me. And they were like, if you want x-rays done, it'll cost this much. And I said, well, gee, I'm kind of curious if my ribs are okay. And, the doctor basically said, look, man, if you want the x-rays, we'll do them. But if your ribs were broken, you wouldn't, they go breathe in, breathe out. And I did it. And they were like, how badly did that hurt on a scale of 1 to 10? And I said, like, about a 4 or 5. And they're like, okay, if your ribs were broken, it'd be a 10. I was like, fair enough. So my ribs were bruised, and there's not much you can do for bruised ribs. You just kind of got to live with them, which is what I did. Yeah. So anyway, that happened to me, and this really got me off on a rant. But my point on all of this was Trendy's pain oil has helped me more than anything else ever has. My neck, I mean, I healed, but like my neck, I get creaks in my neck really easily. And I know part of it is probably just getting older. That's just something that happens to people. But I know that part of it has to do with my accident, because it's like in the exact same areas. Like when my neck went forward and jolted back. Somebody can make a fucked up meme of what I just did there, by the way. But like when I went forward and jolted back, like I feel the pain like right where that impact happened. Well, it wasn't really impact. It was just my neck jerking, because again, I had my seatbelt on, so I didn't hit anything. Wear your fucking seatbelt. Just don't run. Wear your seatbelt. Not worth it, folks. Wear your fucking seatbelt. Trust me on this one. This is not a battle you want to take up. This is not something you go to the mat for. Put your damn seatbelt on. All right? Do you ever see people, they just refuse to put it on? I had this coworker once in this job. He was an awful person. But that's beside. And one of the most annoying things about him, we would be driving the company truck, and he just wouldn't he wouldn't do it. And it would just go ding, 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 ding. And he just wouldn't do it. Like he felt he was proving something. Like, I don't respect your authority, automated beeping thing in a truck. Like what do you think you're proving? And finally, I just said to him, I'm like, hey man, can you just put your seatbelt on? It's giving me a headache at this point. We've been driving like 20 minutes. The beep's still going. I believe that your cock is big. Is that what you want to hear? I believe that you have a really big dick and you're very, very tough. And I would never want to fight you. And I would never doubt the size of your dick. Can you put your seatbelt on now? I mean, what are you proving? Do you do this when you're by yourself? Do you have something to prove to an inanimate object, a fucking automatic beeping in the car? Or you just have something to prove because your coworker's sitting next to you? I already don't like you. You're already an insufferable human being. But I promise, I will own how cool you are. You are so cool and tough. If you just put your seatbelt on, tough guy, please. Like, what the fuck? What are you proving? Just wear your damn seatbelt. All right. Rant over on seatbelts. David Guevara, what's up, David? How are you? I hope everything is well. Thank you for the Rockfin tip. I appreciate that very much. You help keep the show on the air, and you say, great job, Ron. Thank you very much for that, David. I appreciate that very much. Trendy Nay, David, thank you very much for the super chats and the Rockfin contributions. You help keep the show on the air. And let me thank the patrons for their topics this week. Thank you, Nina. And good luck to that 10-year-old guitar shredder. I wish him all the best, and I hope he shreds away. And I hope he starts doing some original music, and I hope he has an awesome career. And I hope that we stop the climate from collapsing, or, mitigate, you know what I mean? And so he can have a future. And Iceland, 4-day work week. Way to go. We should have 4 days or less everywhere. Podcast by George. Thank you very much, buddy. And I'll send you that MMT email. And Pizza King, thank you very much as well. So thank you, Pizza King, Podcast by George, and Nina for this week's topics. And thank you, Nay. And thanks for the pain oil. And thank you, David. And Lucky Burrito, what's up? Lucky Burrito, you give me a nice little Rockfin tip here, and I appreciate that very much. And you say, I was in a severe car accident in 2001. Sorry to hear that. I had 2 back surgeries from that. Ooh, sorry to hear that. Second surgery was a fusion, screws and rods in my back. The seatbelt saved my life. If you can, will you check out Steven Cutler live on YouTube at 3 p.m. Eastern? I tagged you. Hold up. I tagged you on Twitter. We are trying to raise money for the Indie Media Visual for Assange and Slow News Day. Have a lucky burrito, my shop, Spotify.com. Okay, I'll check out your Spotify, and I will try to check out that stream. I actually have to go to a meeting right after this, a Zoom meeting. Still doing the Zoom meetings, but I will try to check it out, Lucky Burrito. Unfortunately, I do have a conflict, but I will try to tune in maybe later after the meeting if I am able. And thank you for bringing it to my attention. And I'll definitely give it a retweet for you. If you tag me on Twitter, I will retweet that for you. And I'm thirsty. And sorry to hear about your accident, but I am glad that you are alive. And having 2 surgeries, that sucks. That really sucks. But what's way worse? Dying. Way worse. Getting killed in a car accident. Well, I mean, we all die eventually. Like you're going to die someday. We're all going to die someday. But dying in a car accident, that's not the way I want to go out. Definitely not. So I'm glad that you are doing better. And thank you very much for sharing everything, and all the best to you. And I was luckier in the sense that I still don't know how I walked away with like very minor injuries. Like if you would have seen this, well, I mean, I didn't, it was all a blur, but it was on I-65 going from Nashville towards Louisville. So I-65 going north. For those of you who know that road, it's a big freaking highway. I want to say it's about 4 lanes. And there is a median in between them. If there wasn't a median, I would have went clear across into the other side of traffic. Because what happened was I was in the right lane. This truck was to the left of me, but this truck sideswiped me. And when it sideswiped me, it just sent me on my side. And I had no control of the vehicle at that point because I got completely sideswiped by a truck. The guy didn't check his blind spot and he just hit me. I was just driving along, minding my own business. He just fucking nailed me out of nowhere, sent me flying into a median. And if there wasn't that median, I would have went into oncoming traffic from the other direction, and I for sure would have gotten killed. There's no doubt. So if it would have been like, and part of that highway doesn't have a median, I think. So if I would have been on that part of the highway, no way somebody would have been coming. They wouldn't have been able to stop. I'd be dead. No, I was completely defenseless in a car. Just freaking, I mean, whew. Sometimes when I reflect on it, it's humbling. It's humbling. And, sometimes I'll be honest with you, when I'm having a bad day or when I'm just down about something or I'm angry or whatever, I think about that. And I think about how easily I could not be here. And it really makes you, cherish things. It really does. And as fucked up as the world is, I still refuse to let go of hope that we can't do better. I know we can. And I cherish those precious moments too. I cherish those moments with my loved ones. I cherish those moments with my wife. I cherish every single moment I'm on stage. And I cherish doing stuff like this with y'all. I cherish every stream I do. I cherish every show I do. And I really do love it. I really do love it. And so thank you all for being here. Thank you again, Nays Garden. Thank you, Lucky Burrito. Thank you, David. Thank you guys for the super chat contributions and the Rockfin tips. And thank you again to Nina and Podcast by George and Pizza King for this week's topics. Guys, again, this has been the patron stream. I respond directly to the patrons and the Rockfin Premium members. It's a casual stream. It's kind of, very relaxed and informal and not planned in advance. I just kind of respond in real time to the stuff they send without knowing anything about it in advance. It's a fun time. This stream goes out to everybody, but the replay is only available on Rockfin Premium or Patreon. And if you're interested in becoming a patron, patreon.com/RomPlacone. For a Give What You Can level, you get all kinds of exclusive content. You get my album to download in its entirety. You get the replay of this stream and all other patron streams. You get a patron Zoom show once a week. I do a Zoom show just for patrons and Rockfin Premium members. And I'll make you a theme song. Do you have your own podcast? Do you want a theme song for it? I'll do that for you. It's a fun time. Or if you just want a theme song in general, I do it for all kinds of different folks. All kinds of different. I've done it for authors. I've done it for podcasts. I've done it for people who just like babysitting their neighbors' cats and animals. I've done it for people who love certain neighborhoods. I've done it for people about their job. I've done it. It's a fun time. You get the idea. Patreon.com/Ron Placone. Last thing I'll say, tour dates. First of all, just announced, hot off the presses. I have not even posted the ticket links yet, but they are out. San Francisco, September 11th. Sacramento, September 12th. Graham Elwood and I will be there. I will be posting those ticket links as soon as this stream is over and before my meeting. I'll be posting those ticket links. So go to ronplacone.com for those tickets and all other tickets. But San Francisco, September 11th. Sacramento, September 12th. Hot off the presses. We just got all the details finalized. We will be there. The Saturday show in San Francisco is a matinee. It's a 3 p.m. matinee. So you still got your evening. You can come check us out in the afternoon. Still got your evening ahead of you. So Sacramento, San Francisco, we're coming. Other tickets are available for a bunch of cities. Pittsburgh just got dropped. Pittsburgh, we're coming. Detroit, Cleveland, New York City, Washington, D.C., Asheville, North Carolina, Jacksonville, Florida, Orlando, Tampa. We should have tickets for Atlanta soon. We should have tickets for Nashville soon. We should have tickets for Miami soon. But tickets are available now for Louisville, Indianapolis, Chicago, Minneapolis, Madison. Grab those tickets, folks. ronplacone.com. And again, if you're looking for San Francisco, Sacramento, wait about 20 minutes after this stream ends. Then go to my website. They will be up now. And again, ronplacone.com for all those tickets. Thank you again, everybody. This has been the Patron/Rockfin Premium stream. And you know the drill. Lucy, she says meow. And I say peace. Peace.